Hello, friends. Welcome back to another week of Sabbath School Nuggets. This week, we'll be mostly focusing on 1 Corinthians chapters 8 to 10. Based on the way that chapter 8 begins, Paul was probably responding to the Corinthians about a very specific question they had for him. And I must confess that I struggled a bit to make sense of the issue because food offered to idols is such a non-issue to Christians in the 21st century. But I'm hoping that after this week's study, you will understand why it's still relevant to us today. Let me try to provide a little background. When animals were sacrificed to the gods in the heathen temples, part of the animal was given to the officiating priests who sold the meat. Some of this meat found its way into the public markets. And so two questions were raised. Number one, was it proper to buy such foods in the public markets and eat it? And number two, was it right to eat such food when visiting in the home of a heathen friend? To complicate things even more, the official position taken by the Jerusalem Council at the time was to abstain from eating these foods. The council saw fit to ask Gentile Christians to abstain from meat offered to idols because it was considered polluted. This new rule would entail no small denial of self. The convert would have to refuse invitations to many festive affairs, or if they were present, refuse to eat there. A Gentile Christian of careful conscience also would refuse to eat food set before them in a private house, unless they were certain it had not been offered in a temple. At the same time, this restriction had the practical value of safeguarding Gentile Christians against the temptation to engage in pagan rituals, where tasting the sacrificial food and wine was an essential part of worship. If nothing offered to an idol was to be eaten, the conscientious Christian could clearly understand that even the automated ritual of tasting food and drink at an emperor's altar was forbidden. A few years after the Jerusalem Council, this restriction was met with some resistance. At Corinth, people claimed the right to eat what they chose, since they knew that idols were nothing and had no real power over them. Every Christian knows that. It's basic knowledge that there are no other true gods, just God the Creator. No big deal, right? Wrong. Some Gentile converts were not so strong in their new faith and still struggled with superstitions regarding food offered to idols and believed it had an effect on them. So when they discovered that other converts were eating food potentially offered to idols, it threw them off spiritually. So one person's actions affected another person's walk in the faith. This is Christian behavior and lifestyle, and it is still an issue in the 21st century. Some Christians believe that they can do whatever they please, regardless of how it impacts others, as long as they don't break the law. But that is a very self-centered, immature way of practicing Christianity. A strong Christian will be careful to avoid doing something that will cause another, less experienced Christian to stumble in their faith. But more on that in the next few days. I'll see you tomorrow.